Jennifer Powell, the owner and head injector at Powell Studio in Hanover, Mass. We have talked about removing the things that create inflammation, preventing further inflammation, but how do we heal the damage that's already done? So let's talk a little bit about revamping the gut and making sure that everything is functioning to the best of its ability. And I always think about the acidity right at the top of the stomach. So I would start from the top when I'm helping support a client who is wondering what's going on with them and how they can feel better. And after an intake, we'll talk a little bit about this. So we will look at what's called a burp test. If you can Google it online, it's really super simple. You're going to take some water and some baking soda and mix it in the morning and take a sip of it and drink it down, and you should really be within a few seconds avalanching, volcanic eruption of a belch. And for me, my first time I did this, I was about 17 minutes and I had like a little blip, like boop. It was nothing impressive. So that tells me right off the bat, hey, when you eat, especially a heavy meal, big in protein or something that requires a lot of support breaking down, you don't even have the tools right from the get-go to break that food down. So that makes sense why I would have delayed gastric emptying, because the whole rest of my bowel is going to have to work hard to keep moving that through so I can digest and eliminate it. So I like to support that myself with a supplement called HCl. This increases the acidity if you take it right before a meal, only while you need it to break your food down, and then you come right back down. The most common support system for people with heartburn and symptoms of, this low gastric acid to help support your food is usually to take Tums or to take an antacid, which further neutralizes everything and makes it even more difficult. So I'm still super confused about this, why this is the option that everyone's going to, but I personally have found HCl to be super supportive, and it's when I need it. It's not something I have to take chronically. And it's not something that stays with me throughout the day. It elevates my acidity when I have a meal, and then it goes right back down to where it's supposed to be, so I don't have delayed symptoms of, heartburn or not feeling well. And then I have changed my eating habits. So I was someone who would eat in the morning and go to work, and then it would be 4 p.m. and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten anything the rest of the day. It's been so busy. Well, I sabotaged my metabolism. So nothing was burning. It was all storing. Your body doesn't know when the next meal is coming. So if you can have an organized meal plan timing, set an alarm. This was something that a friend of mine, Megan, thank you for the support. It, helped me to realize the importance of timing out and not having more than 3 hours in between meals. And making sure that they were organized so that, carbs are important. Don't cut them out altogether, but have them be balanced and earlier in the day. So I always start the day out with protein. I may have a fruit mid-morning, but by itself, don't mix it with other, proteins and carbs. It's supposed to be just the fruit, helps to stabilize your blood sugar, but also tells the body I have to keep digesting. I have to keep motility in the gut. And then for lunch, if I'm going to have a carb, I may have rice or sweet potato with whatever protein and salad, whatnot, but my carbs are in the afternoon. And then later in the day, veggies and hummus or an afternoon snack, maybe a few nuts. I love Brazil nuts. They help give us a lot of nutrients that we need in order to stay healthy and strong, but just 2. If you're not hungry, you don't have to eat a big meal. It's just about a couple of bites. The Gina Livy method is a beautiful resource. She's great at helping you to waken up your metabolism and boost that fueling of fat burn that's happening. And so I tried her program before, but I had so much inflammation I hadn't healed. And so I was discouraged. It didn't work, but now I can see the effects coming to fruition because I realized, okay, my BT and iodine levels are still low. That is what fuels my metabolism. If I can correct those first, then I can have these good habits of eating more regularly, be in what is part of my daily habits. It doesn't have to cost $1 million in order to be super effective. So those are 2 things that I've done so far, is adding the HCl at the beginning of a meal when I need it, and then I am eating more frequently. No more than 3 hours in between meals. And I stopped eating between 6 and 7 p.m. So I try to give my body an opportunity to do a version of fasting. And so for some people, longer fasts are their thing. I am not one that is big into that because my body already has a lot of stress. I have 5 kids. I have a business. I'm in school. I'm trying to work out and have my body create healing. So doing a longer fast for me spiked cortisol and didn't create healing. It was more of a stressor. But I do love to fast during my circadian rhythm, and that's when we're sleeping. So I find that if I'm able to have either aloe water or bone broth, actually, my Hale bone broth is my go-to in the evening. I'll tell you, it is collagen rich. It is so satisfying. It's a big hug at night when you feel like you're hungry and you know you're not. You're probably thirsty. I don't want to drink a bunch more water. I don't want to feel, full, but I love to be able to stay hydrated and to get in that extra protein that we probably are missing with my Hale bone broth. So 1 cup is 10 grams of protein. This doesn't make my body have to digest a bunch of, extra heavy food at the end of the night, but it does leave me full, which helps me to sleep better. And sleeping is so important for the healing process. So I have added, a shot of aloe or aloe water in the day, and I will definitely have at least 1 cup of bone broth each day, which helps to minimize the inflammation that I've already created. So there's a healing process that's happening. I've removed the things that are creating inflammation. I've improved my motility in my gut so that things are not hanging around longer than they need to. And now I'm going back and I'm minimizing the inflammation in the gut with things like aloe or collagen and bone broth. So intermittent fasting is lovely because your body isn't focusing on digestion, it's focusing on cellular healing. So they say anything after 16 hours is where you burn fat that is on the body, but if you can fast for, even up to 12 to 14 hours, if you're stopping at 6 p.m. and starting at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m., depending on your wake time and how you're feeling in the morning and your stressors, you can get 12 to 14 hours where your body can focus on healing. So I hope that this information was helpful. I love sharing all of this content and these different things that I've navigated through the years. It can be overwhelming, and I hope that you find this helpful so that you can share it with a friend that you know is reaching the same challenges that I have had over the past, and continue the curiosity of hearing from others about all these different options that are out there to even make my healing journey better. So please share with me as much as I'm sharing with you. Ask more questions, keep the conversation going. Remember, you can find all of these on our website as well as every podcast platform. They're posted. And until we meet again, I hope you have a wonderful day.